Alright, so this video I'm going to show you how to tighten the springs on a Williams score reel, and it's pretty simple. We're going to start here by getting it out of the machine and letting it hang. There's going to be a little clip that you can push to the side, and that will allow you to slide this out from the back of the machine. It's going to be in the back box. So you push that aside and allows it to disengage and slide from the channel here and a little channel that's holding this in place. You slide it out and you're gonna have some wires that are still gonna be hanging from it. But what we need to do is we need to get to these springs here and be able to tighten this thing up so that way it's closing nicely. So I have a customer that when it gets to the 8, it is kind of stuck in this area. It's not having enough pull to get it back to the rest of the positions. I'm going to use these tools that are here. I like to use a small Phillips to get these screws out, and then I use a flathead to kind of pry off this locking washer. And then we'll use the pliers to kind of tighten the spring. So the first thing you're going to do is get this little locking washer. I guess it's the term for it, locking washer. And then a regular washer is next, and then you're going to take your small Phillips, make sure it's the correct size so you're not going to strip these, and you're just going to kind of hold the score reel circle in place. They're pretty strong. I don't think you can really hurt them. Just make sure to kind of, when you screw these screws back in, you don't over tighten them. It is screwing into a plastic, so you could strip it fairly easily, I believe. You're just putting it in there so it's snug. Don't worry about getting it super tight. So then I'm going to take that piece off, and that opens it up so you can really get to these springs here. So the spring that's right here is responsible for allowing it to pull it back forcefully and engage it to the next number. So that one I think is the most important for engaging it to allow it to go to the next number. This might slide out of place a little bit, just be careful like it is for me. Let's see. You know what? This one is missing the, there's supposed to be a clip. Oh no, we're good. I took off the clip already. I'm just gonna take this spring off. There we go. That's gonna be a little easier. This spring right here comes off as well, right here. And now I can fix this. So I'm kind of doing this upside down. I'm gonna flip it this way. So I can slide this out and out of the way if need be. The customer that I have already had all this stuff ultrasonic cleaned and it's been gone through, so I know that these aren't really causing much slowdown or catching on anything to cause this issue to happen. So I know that all we have to do is really, first thing I'm going to try is to have the spring be adjusted. The springs do wear out over time. So here we go. I'm going to first grab this string. You can take it off, which I'm going to try to do. And then just put it back on after. I'm just going to leave it on. It's totally easy to take on and off, but just so I can kind of speed this up. What I like to do is you can use this part of the pliers right here to kind of make a new creased, or I guess bent area of this spring, or you can use one of these just to make sure you're taking off a few rings. So I'm gonna try to zoom in here so we can see. I'm gonna count maybe 2 rings. If I want to be aggressive, I can maybe go 3. It's not really gonna hurt too much. I guess it would be better to start with 2, or just to see how it goes, but I think I'm pretty good. I usually take about 2 or 3 off, and then I can snip off the excess here. I'm gonna use this pliers to actually break the wire. It's a little sturdier than what I had. And there we go. So I created a new loop. So I just basically used a sharpened wire cutter to crease an area, bend it up, and then once I have the excess showing on the side, pull it through, and you can see I have taken off some rings. So this is a factory curve here, so you can see it's never been done, most likely by anybody else. So that's going to be nice and have a lot of pullback, which is great. This one right here is more responsible for making sure that it locks. Once it engages, it locks the reel in place. I'll show you right here. So as it gets engaged by the coil, it pulls it in. Oops, I should reattach this spring. Just like that. So that spring is just going to be responsible for locking it into position so the numbers can't reverse, backwards. There's no way for it to turn back counterclockwise. So that one you don't really have to worry about in this situation, but I guess as long as you were here, you could take off maybe one ring from here. It wouldn't hurt. I don't think it would really be needed since it's just for locking it into place, but if you wanted to, you could bend it, take off one ring, maybe two. See, there's a little curve in the middle. Let me get rid of that. There we go. And it should have more pull now. So once it is engaged, the coil pulls the plunger or solenoid in. It will pull back stronger to make sure that it does kick to the next one. If it's not pulling back, very much, it may not ever get to that spot. It may just, stick right here. Okay. So it's gonna allow it to fully go all the way back. All right, so then to put this all back together, I would take a look at the back of this. Oops, try not to lose any of these little screws here. Put your finger on it. So there is a tab on the back of this right here that tells you how to align it properly on here. So if you look closely on this part, there is a tab right there. The tab on the reel is supposed to line up perfectly with the tab that's there. So the tab is right there. So when I put it down, it will align nicely in there. Kind of look underneath to make sure it's aligned. And then sometimes what I see that actually helps is if I were to flip it over and engage this once, it helps me once if I hold it engaged or even let it click a few times. I'm gonna switch it so I can see that channel and make sure it actually got into that little slot. Yeah, so it's hard to see, but that little slot is lined up nicely in there. It's flush, it's down flat in that little channel. Now I want to hold it down so it's still flat in that channel. And I can tighten these screws down. Remember, don't tighten them too much. You can kind of tighten a little bit at a time to make sure that they're helping you hold this in place. and then go ahead and tighten down. Just hand tighten once you feel it's like good. Don't go any further. Just feeling like it's good and snug or good enough there. Then I need to put the washer back on, like that, and the lock washer, just like that. And then I can test it to make sure it feels like it's clicking, you know, nice and easily. Or when you're testing it, the solenoid does get pulled in very quickly. This is one that's a little bit gummed up. It's definitely not cleaned in like an ultrasonic cleaner, like the customers, but this one still shows that it's moving and clicking back nicely. So that is it. Things of caution that I should say is make sure you don't bump any of these switches. These switches, you might see 3 different sets. This one only has 2, but if you have these switches in place, just make sure not to like pull these wires or, you know, bend these contacts. Depending on the reel too, you might have another leaf switch here. Just make sure that those aren't being pushed on or bent or anything like that. Make sure these wires are on there good, so that way you don't damage any of that stuff. So that is how you kind of tighten those springs to make sure it's pulling back nicely, and it should fix any issues with the reels that are kind of catching and slowing down. All right, thanks for watching.